we have talent trackers here at the information. And the latest talent tracker that we put together, that you put together, was a list of the data center executives that should absolutely be on our audience's radar as the data center story gets more and more heated. Tell us a little bit about what your reflections were from this reporting, and then we'll get into who was actually on the list specifically.
Sure. So I remember a couple months ago hearing about all the crazy stories in AI research land. The direct phone calls from Mark Zuckerberg, the crazy offers. And over the past couple of months, it became very clear to me that a very similar dynamic was happening in the data center sector. The types of people we highlighted on the list are not CEOs. They're not really people that you see out and about talking about their companies, but they're I would say secret weapon maybe at their companies in terms of getting data center capacity online quickly and on budget. These are sort of the types of people that, everyone is trying to poach and who are highly compensated at their firms to stay. So I thought it would make sense to highlight some of those people and get them on everyone's radar because these are people who are going to be very important as deadlines approach. Everything is going to kind of fall on them.
Okay, so who's on the list? Give us a couple of the names.
So a couple of the names, one is Chris Dolan from Crusoe. He's a very key figure in developing OpenAI's data center in Abilene, Texas. We have Rachel Peterson, a longtime Meta employee, who's vice president of their data centers. And we have some rising stars too, like FluidStack's Corey Smith, who a lot of people worked with when he was at Oracle. So there are 16 people in total. Highly recommend checking it out, but those are a few people.
What about the backgrounds of all these people? I mean, are these all people that share real estate experience in their history? Are they people that were former startup founders that then got acquired and took over the operations? Are there any common threads connecting this group at all?
Yeah, it's a really great question. And as I talk to folks, people really said you should look at everyone's background because that will kind of tell you everything you need to know about whether they are this key person that you're looking for. And I would say broadly, a lot of people on the list have been in the data center sector for 20 plus years. So they were working on data centers before they were cool, before they had anything to do with AI. And you'll see a lot of people with roles like head of design, engineering, and construction. Some people actually did work at construction companies before, like a general contractor that worked on behalf of a hyperscaler. You see some well-known data center names like Digital Realty, Equinix. So those are the types of people that really made the cut for the list. But it's interesting. One person on the list actually came out of retirement to get back into the sector. So, and there's one person we
Who
mentioned.
who who was that? Who was that person? Who came out of retirement?
That one was Chris Dolan, who was advising
Right.
CISO and then decided to join full time.
So he came back, and so are all these people getting paid pretty handsomely now? More than they were 10 years ago when data centers were not as closely watched.
Exactly. I mean, you can imagine if you come out of retirement or, make a big shift, 30 years into your career, you're likely getting heavily compensated for it. But yeah, like we said in the story, some of these pay packages are above 10 million, and that was not the case a couple of years ago. So I think this, role that's always existed and always been important has just suddenly become so vital that, they're getting paid the top dollar at their company.
Okay, and before you go, there were also a couple free agents that you said that we should be watching. People that are not currently at companies that you think could get snapped up. Who are those folks?
Yeah, one that we heard a lot was Joe Kava. He's a 17-year Google veteran, and he retired last summer, but, tons of people are chatting
Yeah,
about him.
as we know, tons of people retire now in data center land. They come back.
Right, and people highly suspect that he will re-enter the industry, and then another one that we called out, was someone who is now doing a lot of advising for private equity firms, Dan Madrigal. He was at Oracle and key to that Stargate data center in Texas. So, if he ever wants to get back into the industry, I think that there will be plenty of firms calling him.
Great. Well, to any of those free agents, we are inviting you to come on the show and tell us a little bit of what you're doing and who's pitching you offers right now, because They certainly are names to watch. Anissa, I want to thank you for coming on. That is Anissa Gardizy, our cloud and compute reporter here at The Information.